we are going to start the review of this book, The Hitman and the Preacher. Okay, The Hitman and the Preacher. So we're getting ready to analyze this book. And so I want to just introduce this as a book reading slash book review slash discernment deep dive, because I believe that you're going to be enriched by this process. Now, I'm not saying that the contents of the book are what's going to enrich you. What I'm saying is that the process is all about the process in this situation, and at least how I am presenting this information, because my ultimate goal is for you to activate your gift of discernment and to really work that muscle. And I believe that the best way to do that is to have real life examples, real life cases where you really challenge your ability to discern and your ability to analyze, and you really just practice that muscle, so that in your own life you can see the deception, the control, the manipulation, and you can see how that plays out. The crazy part about it is a lot of these people, they repeat the same behaviors. You'll see a lot of the same patterns, which lends me to believe that this is a lot more spiritual than a lot of us are willing to admit or to acknowledge. And we think that it's all a mental health issue. And sometimes we dismiss this, what we see in front of us, the behaviors, the actions, the damage. We dismiss it because it's like it's mental health. And when we say that, there's an implication that there is nothing that we can do about it. So essentially, that gives people a get out of jail free card. It gives them an alibi. It gives them an excuse for their behavior. But if we think about things on a spiritual level, which ultimately everything is, then we start to realize that this is much deeper than we knew, because things happen in the spiritual realm and we see them playing out in the natural. And so I believe that we'll be able to see and analyze how things are playing out in the spiritual realm and how we're seeing that in real life, even in the people that we love, we honor, we respect, that was there with us growing up, was instrumental in our development. And we still see that even those people that we love and respect are heavily demonically influenced. That is ultimately what it boils down to. But even when we acknowledge it for its natural sense, like it being mental illness, or in the spiritual sense being a demonic force, then what does that exactly mean for us? What does that mean for the believer? What does that mean for the discerner? What it means is that we are smarter about how we move, how we interact with people like this. We are smarter about the things that we do, the decisions that we make, because we acknowledge that there are evil forces, there are good forces in this world as well, right? And it just is a smart way to be, to look out for these things that could potentially harm us and harm the ones that we love, and be smarter about how we move about in the world, knowing that there are a lot of demonic forces out there, or if you want to call it mental illness, then there are a lot of mentally ill people out there. And so the best thing that you can do is to control you and use your gift of discernment to protect you and to protect the ones that you love. So this is a book reading slash book on The Hitman and the Preacher. And you guys, this is my father here, a religious narcissist who I went no contact with in August of 2019. But yet there has been still a bit of a back and forth between us. And especially you can see that played out in his book, which he wrote in response to my book, The Pastor's Daughter Provoked. The Pastor's Daughter Provoked, it came out in March of 2022, I believe. And so now she's 3 years old. And my father has just released his book in response to this book. And that is the book that we will be analyzing in this book review and reading. So I want you to think about this as a case, right? We're analyzing a case, and we're going to do a deep dive into this book, a book that was written by a man who knows deception all too well. And he knows it all too well because he practiced it for years, decades. So this isn't just a reading. This is a discernment exercise. It's like a live investigation into manipulation, into half-truths, and to really rewriting history. So y'all, I got my handy dandy notebook. I've got my handy dandy notebook, and we're going to be taking notes as we go through this book, because we will be analyzing the book for specific things, okay?